Let's talk about this is something that you and I dialogued about regarding the Q3 numbers and the report. They said that they had about 500 million in unrecognized revenue from full self-driving. What are your thoughts about that? Because I think that that's huge. Maybe not so much as a total number, but in terms of potential and where that could head. This is essentially unrecognized revenue from selling software.
Yep. And so even though Tesla made a profit this quarter, they weren't allowed to book all of that revenue. If you bought that $7,000 or $6,000 fully self-driving package, they're only booking a couple thousand of that in revenue, putting the rest on their deferred revenue as a liability on their balance sheet. And which you're saying that number is actually about 600 million that they expect to recognize over the next 12 months in their SEC filings. So we're literally seeing over time software become a bigger and bigger piece of Tesla's business. And it's sort of this weird way the accounting works, where when they roll out features, they're allowed to incrementally recognize it. But this is a tailwind we're going to see for the next 6 quarters as we get to full self-driving. Each quarter, if they make that progress with a big update, they'll get another chunk of revenue. It was 30 million last quarter, and very high margin revenue. It could be 50. And they said it's going to be 600 or so million over the next 12 months. Maybe a little bit of aggressive Elon timing there, but even if you pare that down, it could be 50 to 100 million each quarter for the next year or two.
And to me, it seems like an untapped potential. We've discussed this sort of on and offline about how, well, in my opinion, the automotive industry still doesn't understand this software component piece, or this software as a service piece, because there's no other company that can do it like Tesla does. And when you look at what Tesla is offering, yes, they're offering a physical product, but they're also really, really good at the software piece. And in the future, maybe in the near future, it just appears like they've got the ability to sort of write their own check, stroke their own check, and really create products that produce revenue post purchase. And to me, that is going to be the dark horse for Tesla.
Yeah, and I think the real trend is what Elon Musk described on the conference call. This is the biggest sort of change in an asset's value in history. Like this idea of once we hit full autonomy, the car is going to be worth $200,000, or that's how much it'll be able to generate for an owner. And everyone's always like, oh, that seems so crazy, or, where are these numbers coming from? But that's what we're talking about. That's literally playing out right now. They're just raising the price to 7,000 of full self-driving. Soon it'll be 10,000. And so we're seeing Tesla slowly morph for the more and more value of the car to go to software, which is higher margin, which changes all of these preconceived notions about how to value car companies and what their product even is. So yeah, I think this is a story that's really hard to get, because frankly, it just like hasn't ever happened before. It's like sort of history unfolding before our eyes.
No one's got the context for it. And, it reminds me a lot of the criticism that I see about Tesla in regards to full self-driving. The critics and the bears will say that they're pushing out software that maybe is not ready for prime time. But I think many of those people probably fail to recognize that this is iterative, right? They push out a software update, and then maybe a week later, they push out another one to make it improvement and incrementally better over time. Versus, I think the automotive industry is very much, they produce a product, they present it to the consumer buys it, and that's it, right? You can't update a Jaguar or BMW or Mercedes unless you take it in. It's a very static product, but Tesla is very fluid and very iterative in their product that they create. And I think that we're going to start to hear more about a term that both you and I are very familiar with, called LTV, lifetime value, right? It's not just a one-time purchase, but it's the lifetime value of that customer over the course of ownership. So purchase of the Tesla vehicle, but also the lifetime value of that customer will be purchase, and then all of these opportunities for the consumer to spend money through the app or through the software, through the touch screen. I know we've talked about an app store, which I think will come inevitably. You've also got the full self-driving thing that Tesla can push out to people who maybe didn't purchase it initially, offer them an incentive, a Black Friday sale, for example, and give them a reason to buy that, which then increases that lifetime value of that customer.
And from a technology perspective, it's fascinating. And this is why we say that, or at least I think almost no one else is a threat to really get to full self-driving, or even seems like they have a plan that will work to get there. Because Tesla, like you said, they push this update out. Okay, we have a couple 100,000 people testing Smart Summon. Let's use that data to push another update out, and a week later to make it better. You know, it's the fleet learning approach. So there's a lot of aspects to the fleet with what Tesla's doing. Now it's about 700,000 cars with autopilot 2 on the roads, soon to be a couple million, all training that neural net, you know, refining the software and autonomous vehicle technology. This is that feedback loop and cycle that literally no one else has or is even remotely close to. So from that, just getting the autonomous software better side of things, I think Tesla's so far ahead. And then you're talking about this sort of business app store use case, which is the flip side of 700,000 active installs, soon to be millions of active installs. And think about it, these are people spending hours per week in their car. They're probably extremely like forward thinking, tech savvy, probably very wealthy people. So even though the numbers may seem small at first, this is an extremely valuable demographic of people. And it's like sort of their little, you know, their home away from home, smartphone on wheels. So much potential. But I think no other car company, like you said, has the ability to, from a software perspective, to really even start competing at this level.
Yeah, I think in order to fully recognize the potential of generating revenue inside of a vehicle, you've got to tackle the autonomy piece first. There's only so much attention that you can ask for a driver or a consumer in a vehicle while they're actually driving the car, or while they're actually parked. Like Tesla is sort of starting to present opportunities for consumers to engage with the car via the internet right now while the car is stopped by accessing YouTube and Netflix and so on. But imagine when the car is driving itself, you're going to have, this is going to be the new screen. This will be the new battle for people's attention while they are riding in their autonomous car. And so the opportunity to the business or revenue opportunity in the autonomous car is going to be huge, but you can't do that. You can't recognize that opportunity for an app store or you know, video streaming or whatever it is until the car is driving itself. And it appears to be that Tesla is in the best position to be first to market.